Have you been in contact with Josh's wife, Anna, at all?
We have not been in contact with Anna. I have seen her at on a few occasions, but I also want to respect. I know she's asked for some space, so we want to respect that as well. I think when you are learning to set boundaries in your own life, you also learn to respect other people's boundaries.
What is it do you think keeps her with Josh?
Yeah, I have no idea why Anna has decided to stay with Josh and like what she is dealing with there and everything.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, September 21st, 2023. I'm so sorry I haven't been around this week. Unfortunately, my husband hasn't been feeling the best and I've had to be pulling multiple duties with being a mom and a wife and also being a self-employed reporter. So I am so sorry. Today is a voiceover day, but I have a lot to cover today because Jill Duggar's book, Counting the Cost, just hit the New York Times bestsellers list on the #2 of all fiction books, only behind the biography of Elon Musk. This is an incredible feat for her. Her reach on the New York Times bestsellers is also an authentic reach, meaning that individuals purchased her book. There was no gaming of the system, no bulk ordering. She made the New York Times bestseller list on her own because people were interested in hearing her story. So this is incredible. And obviously with so much that's come out from her book, it's also had a lot of people coming out of the woodwork. I talked to you guys last week about how I spoke with Alice, who knew the Duggars back in the early 2000s and even up until, it's been a while. Anyways, and I've been posting over on my Instagram while my husband wasn't feeling good to just give you some tea of what's been developing over there. But I actually ended up hearing from someone yesterday, another person, this person actually affiliated with David Waller's church, Fair Park Baptist Church. And the conversation that I had with them was very concerning. It had to do with a lot of different things that are going down in Texas. But there was a conversation that this person revealed to me and some details about Anna that I think might give people a little bit more insight about what is going on. And I think it correlates really well with how Jill has talked about the amount of control her dad has over her siblings and how he has got them, they can't talk about the book, they can't speak out about the book. If they do, they'll be disinherited. But it's not even just that. It's that Jim Bob in the book made her believe and made people pick sides. So he said it's us against them. You're either with me or you're with Jill. There's no difference. It's like he has decided it's you or me. And Jill is labeled the dangerous one, okay? This is a common tactic of narcissists. They like to triangulate and pit people against each other and make people pick sides. This is a tactic that apparently Josh Duggar is doing to Anna right now. And this is actually a little bit concerning because there's been a lot of rumors about Anna in the last year since she has, been on her own without Josh as he's been in Seagoville. And I was able to dispel some of those rumors through my conversation, but I also got clarity about what's happening with Anna and the kids. And it's really troubling, you guys. So let's dive into today's topic. Before we do, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell so you can get notified of any time I go live or new content loads. If you have something that you'd like to say, make sure to leave a comment and share this video with your friends. I got an email yesterday from someone that is a former member of Fair Park Baptist Church in Texas, which is the church that David Waller has been a pastor of for over a year. This church is an IBL affiliated church, and it's also a church that Jim Bob Duggar has a lot of control over. And Jim Bob obviously got David Waller to write a letter to the judge about Josh, like David pleading to the judge to give leniency to Josh. And not even really touching on the fact that these were really serious allegations. It was a conviction, none of that. It was like, no, the kids need their dad and Anna needs her husband. And And then on top of that, David Waller wrote this letter on church header, right, as the pastor of Fair Park Baptist Church, and he didn't tell anyone at the church, and that became public this summer, and soon people at Fair Park were really upset with that on top of Michael Keller's really horrible sermon that he gave this summer on the 4th of July, or right around the 4th of July. So Anna has been splitting her time, according to this source, between Arkansas and Texas. And she spends a lot of time with David and Priscilla down in Texas because it's close to Josh and Seagoville. I asked the source specifically if they had heard any information about if Anna had ever been kicked out by Jim Bob, and they said absolutely not. They said there's absolutely no way Jim Bob would have ever kicked her out because he's super controlling. And they weren't necessarily sure where exactly she's been living, but they were pretty confident Anna was never kicked out of the Duggars house. She also has stayed in Texas with the Wallers, and she's also close to the Spivies, but she doesn't live down there. That's what this person said. She does go down there quite a bit to visit Josh and to be with her sister. So Anna's kids are apparently not doing very well. And the reason why this person was sharing this with me is because they were concerned that within this church system, David Waller apparently doesn't seem to care about the well-being of the kids, the well-being of Anna, and he's more concerned that Anna is doing her duty as a wife to stand by her husband. And one of the pieces of information that I was given was that Anna is staying with Josh because she believes it's her duty as a wife, but it's not, it's deeper than that. Josh has her convinced and isolated and completely twisted in her mind, believing that this is a government conspiracy, that the government is after him and has set him up because he is a Christian man that had prominence in Josh's own mind, and that prominence and that it was a threat to the government. And so Josh is being taken down because the government didn't like his Christian family values and the morality that he stood for. Josh is like a legend in his own mind. But on top of that, he has her convinced that this conspiracy happened, right? But he's also told her it's us against the world, which is very similar according to what Jim Bob did to the kids. It's me or Jill. It's very similar to what Jim Bob did. It's me or Jill. You're either with me or you're against me. And so really what he's got Anna believing is that she cannot trust anyone. So there's been this big hostility between Anna and the siblings. And Anna has made some public statements, sort of, kind of, maybe a little bit through In Touch, basically saying that she's upset with some of the siblings speaking out against Josh and it's a betrayal. Well, apparently the source said that Anna has been convinced by Josh that she cannot trust anyone but him. Like, he is the only person that is going to give her information that's accurate, that is the only person that has her best interest, and that his siblings and even her siblings and people in both of their families cannot be trusted. And it's placed Anna in a very unfortunate position because the source said that Anna is so incredibly locked up and in a state of the person described it as Anna is catatonic. She is frozen. They described being in a room with Anna and trying to have a conversation with Anna and talking directly to Anna. And it was like Anna didn't even acknowledge that the person was there, didn't respond. And it was like Anna was somewhere else. Couldn't hear. They tried to get Anna's attention multiple times. They were not in a very big room, and Anna just was blank. And that's been a pretty standard means of how Anna's been behaving. And she's the way that they described it is she's a shell. She's hollow. There's nothing there. This could be a response to the narcissistic abuse she's gone through with Josh, where you can go into flight, freeze, fight, fawn. She doesn't have Josh to fawn over anymore, right? She's not fighting with anyone, so she's frozen. And she's stuck in a state of shock from the trauma. That's my opinion, just based on what I was thinking. And I had some people in my comments saying it sounds like she's sort of like having some sort of breakdown. I don't really know. I'm not a psychologist, but the problem here is that Anna has been so conditioned by this cult to never question anything with Josh, ever. And to always obey your husband, to always listen to his authority. And she is being told not to read things, not to watch things, not to watch the documentary, not to look at the books, like literally don't trust anyone at all. So she is at odds with literally all of the siblings for the most part. She's at odds with some of her own siblings. She's not speaking really to anyone. And unfortunately, in the middle of all of that, this person said the kids are struggling. This person said that when Anna's at the church, the boys specifically are acting out really bad. And that Anna it's made it so some people won't even go to church anymore when the kids are there, because the boys are apparently being bullies on the floor, like when they're out playing or when they're in the church groups for the kids, knocking kids down, punching them, pushing them, slapping them, playing really rough. But it's not like they're playing, it's like they're angry. And nobody's doing anything to stop it. Nobody's like intervening with Anna. Anna's not doing anything to reel it in. Conversely, the girls are acting like nothing's going on, like they're just happier than you should be given what's happened. The person noted that the boys acting out is probably a response to what's been going on in their home life and potentially what may have happened with their dad, maybe their own trauma. But on top of that, like the fact that nobody's doing anything is concerning. And apparently people have spoken to David Waller about it and said, like, aren't you going to do anything for Anna? Aren't you going to help Anna? And they're just like, no, Anna's fine. She's standing by her husband. She's going to be with him. It'll be great. The kids need a father, and Anna's just doing her duty as a wife to stay by her husband regardless of what Josh has done. So with Anna believing that it's us against the world, believing that it's a conspiracy, a government conspiracy that has set up Josh, she is unable to distinguish between reality and truth at this point. She's become paranoid. She'll like apparently vacillate between being angry and then just being frozen. Her mind is apparently so twisted, and nobody can get through to her because she's been so beat down and gaslit by Josh and controlled. And that even through being in prison, he is still manipulating and controlling her and harming her and the kids. And she's not distancing herself from him to even wake up to the reality of what she's facing, because she truly is so controlled by Josh. It gave me a lot more insight into Anna to see that this is a way more complicated scenario of just Anna being defiant and Anna not being able to wake up. It's like the way that this person described it is that Anna's family her dad is, well, you've seen videos of her dad. This person described Michael as like certifiably insane, and that he just threw his daughters to the wolves, and he did that with Anna and Josh. And that Anna has been conditioned from the time she was born to just go with whatever she's supposed to be the dutiful wife. She's supposed to be with her godly husband. And that the women in this culture are blamed for everything. So if Anna were to go to help to the church, this person said David would tell her it's her fault, because that's what he does with wives and husbands. Apparently in counseling, if she were going to go get pastoral counseling from like him or other elders, they would tell her it was her fault, being that she was doing something wrong, whether she was not engaging with him enough, whether she's not being godly enough, whether she's not being beautiful enough, not thin enough, not doing enough in the bedroom, she's being too bossy, too bitter, whatever. They have an excuse for every single thing that the wives do, and they would have blamed Anna for this. The other really insane thing that's happening, it's a level of evil I'll never understand, but apparently David is justifying his letter to support Josh because he believes either one, it's a setup, right? Or two, and this is also something that Josh has been telling people, is that, well, if it's not a setup, it happened by accident. And so what David's telling people that are pushing back at him about supporting Josh is, well, if Josh did have this on his computer, it wasn't because he was looking at that content. He was looking at the adult stuff, and he accidentally had a couple files that were in a larger download that he got of adult stuff. And he just deleted that stuff. He didn't watch it, and that's why. So he wasn't intentionally doing this. So it's either Josh didn't do it and it's a setup, or Josh accidentally did it, but it's taking all culpability away. And those two scenarios are what Josh is using on Anna so that he is able to get her not to leave him and to like stand by his authority and to make her distrust everyone around her. I asked this person, has anyone thought about getting a wellness check or, contacting CPS or whatever? It seems like maybe she could use some help. And this person said, unfortunately, like, unless there's something physically happening where she's a danger to herself or the kids are being a danger to themselves, CPS isn't like as be all end all as you would hope. And unless she wants to cooperate, she doesn't have to cooperate. And unless they have probable cause, they can do a wellness check on her, but she wouldn't actually have to say anything. She doesn't even have to talk to them. She doesn't have to respond to anything. She doesn't have to let anyone in her house. So if she's at the Duggars and say that they stop by and they're like, we want to just check on Anna to make sure she's okay, they don't have to cooperate. So it's almost like you can't even penetrate to her to see her because, one, they have convinced Anna that CPS is evil and satanic and trying to take her children. And they've also convinced Anna that you can't trust law enforcement because they set us up. So Anna is like in a complete and utter state of like paralyzed fear. And nobody around them can get to her. Even the people that see her can't get to her because she's like a robot. I actually got this gave me so much more insight to what's happening. And I got this understanding a lot more clear that through David Waller's church is basically, from this person's perspective, controlled by Jim Bob. And Jim Bob is controlling David Waller's church, and he's controlling these other churches in Texas, and they're all these IBLP churches. And so he's not only controlling them, but he's also controlling the Spivies. He's controlling all of these followers that he has, and he's controlling Anna. And they continue to protect Josh because they keep excusing it, because in this cult, no men ever are responsible for anything. It's always the woman's fault. Their biggest fear, they said, was that Josh Duggar, when he gets out, will live in Texas and go to church, and David will allow him to be in the church, and he can be a member of the church. And David would fully support it. And because David doesn't want to see that Josh is guilty, and he doesn't want to help Anna, and he doesn't want anyone else to help Anna. And Anna doesn't know what to do because she's afraid of everyone, because Josh has made her convinced that it's all set up, and she's just been so brainwashed and she's broken. And this person said, they always say that it takes a woman like 6-7 times to leave an abusive situation, and they classified Anna as an abused wife that is stuck in an abusive relationship with no way out and not even understanding the danger that she's in because she has been so gaslit and gaslit and lied to by Josh. So she is currently not in Texas. From their perspective, Anna's living in Arkansas with the Duggars, and Anna and the kids are struggling, but there's literally nothing that anyone can do because they won't cooperate with anyone, and they don't have to allow anyone into their home to check on anything. And unfortunately, life goes on for the Duggars, and it's just really sad that this cult continues to harm people in broad daylight, in the public eye, in front of everyone, that women are basically just like captive, psychologically held captive by their abusers, and they can't get out even after they're in prison. I wish there was more that I could tell you and that things could be done to save her, but at this point, this person said, there's nothing we can do. Tell me what your thoughts are about this in the comments below. Bye, guys.